Hello everybody, it's Dee from Quick Speed. Thank you for tuning in. Today we are going to learn how to print in sections so that we can do cool things on a little printer that can only print 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 14. We're going to print in sections so we can do cool things like rugs. This video is about breaking up our prints in Microsoft Paint, and I did another video that's about breaking up your print using Adobe PDF Reader. You can click that video here, but this one is about doing it in Microsoft Paint. All you need is your image, Microsoft Paint, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. If that's something you're interested in learning, I will see you inside. All right, everybody, let's do this. Let's print in tiles from Microsoft Paint. So the first thing we are going to do is we need to open our image in Microsoft Paint. And right here, I'm in my folder. I'm going to make sure that it is my actual image and not the PDF that I made. So it is the PNG file I'm looking for my rug. I am going to right-click on that, and I will get options to open. And I am going to choose Open With. And when you choose the Open With, you get other options. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select Paint. Just the regular old Paint, not 3D Paint. I'm just going to select Paint and open my image. And I'm going to open this up for you so that you can see the entire thing. And I'm just going to come over to View here and click on View, and I'm going to zoom out just so that you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'll head back over to the Home tab. Now, the first thing you want to do is anytime you upload an image into any program, really, you want to make sure that your measurements stayed the same. So here in Microsoft Paint, I do have a ruler, and I can see that it is still 24 inches wide, and it is 12 inches tall, which is the size I expected it to be, so that is perfect. Let's head on into where we would print this in sections. So that is going to be under the File, Print, and then we can go over here to the Page Setup, and we're going to click Page Setup. Now, with the page setup box open, we want to make sure that we have the right size paper selected. Now, if you have both letter and legal, I'm going to show you how to test to make sure which one is going to be better for you. But if you only have letter, then choose letter. And if you only have legal, then choose legal. But if you have both, you might want to take a look at how it will print on letter and how it will print on legal, and then make your choice. And I'll show you how to do that. So let's just start with letter, because that is the most common paper size for the EcoTank 2720. Let's continue with margins. Now, this is a 1/2 inch margin. We don't really need that big of a margin. We know that the EcoTank prints a border around our entire page, so but it's not a 1/2 inch. I'm just going to change this to, like 0.25. I'm just going to change it to 0.25, which is a 1/4 inch, just to give it a little bit less room. I don't need an entire 1/2 inch of margin, and so that's a 1/4 inch. At least that's how I like to do mine. If you think you want a bigger border, go ahead and keep that 1/2 inch in there. But I like to put 0.25, which equals 1/4 inch. Now that we've got the margins, let's take a look at this next box, because this is kind of like where the magic happens. And I kind of refer to this little button here that says Adjust To as the magic button. And what I want to draw your attention to first is, do you see this Fit To? Right now it's 1 by 1. So that means fit this on 1 page of paper. So if you were to just print this right now, you would get a shrunken version of your 12 by 24 inch print, and it would shrink it and spit it out on a letter size piece of paper. But if we click the adjust to button, and what I want you to do is I want you to watch this one by one. I'm going to click the adjust button, and do you see how now it knows that if I wanted to scale this print, but I wanted to keep it 100% of the size, it knows that I would need to fit it to 3 pieces of paper wide by 2 inches tall. That little piece of knowledge there will prevent you from having to do the math and typing in these numbers yourself. So again, the adjust to button was normal, and you keep it at 100%. And if you just click that button as soon as you come in here after you set up your paper size, it will automatically know how to print it for you, like how many pieces of paper it's going to need to do this for you. So with that out of the way, we now know that we have 3 by 2 or 3 times 2. So we know that in letter mode, it's going to print in 6 pieces of paper. Oh, if you happen to have legal size paper, and you're just wondering which will do it in less pieces of paper, come up here and change it to legal, adjust to, and you can see that it will now need 4 pieces of paper to do that for you. And that's, of course, in landscape mode. We didn't even talk about kind of changing it to portrait mode. But let's talk about that now. If you wanted to print it in portrait mode, go back and click the adjust to button like I just did. And then you can see that now you just need 3 pieces of paper. And that kind of makes sense. Let me just move this out of the way. We know that legal size paper is 14 inches long. So if we wanted to split this up, it's only 12 inches tall. So we know that we can really split this across 3 pieces of paper if we select portrait mode. If we want to print it in landscape mode, click the adjust to button again, and it automatically knows, come back down to the fit to, and it knows that you're going to need 4 pieces of paper. I hope this kind of makes sense. So let's go and look at the print preview so that you can kind of see what this all means. I'm going to keep it here in landscape mode, and I'm going to click OK so that we can see a print preview. Now, let's point out a few things in the print preview mode. When we're in the print preview mode, you can come up here and you can see 1 page or 2 pages at the same time. I kind of like to see 2 pages at the same time. So remember, this one was going to give us 4 pieces of paper, and this is how it's going to split it if we print in landscape mode. This is page 1 and 2. Now what it's going to do is it's going to give you page 2 right here and page 3. It's not going to spit it out that way, but on the computer it shows you 2 pages at a time, and it always puts the previous in with the next. So this page, this is your 3rd page, and this is your 4th page. All right, so we can you do this way. So we can see this way, that's going to be piece of paper 1, that's going to be piece of paper 2, piece of paper 3, piece of paper 4. And I'll zoom out just so that you can see those two together. Now, I don't like this because I don't like to split letters, because I don't think you can fool the eye so easily when you split letters. Let's close this print preview. Or actually, from the print preview, let's go back to page setup and see if we can do any better. What happens if we just change this legal to portrait mode, come back in here and adjust, and then click the fit to, click OK, and now we're in the print preview and we see, wow, this is way better. This is 1 page, that's 2 page, and that's the 3rd page. In this case, if we print in tiles in the portrait mode, we get that S all on 1 piece of paper, and then the other 2 pieces of paper are just the little frilly details. I would totally do this instead. I'm going to zoom out or zoom in so that you can see each page. Page 1. Actually, let's see if I can shrink that even further. Page 1, page 2, page 2, page 3. It's not going to print this twice. It just shows you that on the screen. So if I had legal size paper, that's exactly what I would do. Let's go back into the page setup box. If I had legal size paper, that's how I would print it, because I would want it on 3 pieces of paper. I like the way that looks, and that is what I would choose. If you do it in landscape, you have to use more paper, and it cuts the S in half, like we just showed. All right, let's pretend we don't have legal size paper and all you have is letter. So we're just going to come back here and click letter. Hit this adjust to box so that it knows what you need to do. Like, it kind of like that adjust to box. Anytime you change the paper size, you got to re-hit that adjust to, and it recalibrates how many pieces of paper you're going to need based on the orientation. When you have letter size paper, in this case, it's just not going to be any different whether you print it in portrait mode or landscape mode. As far as the number of pieces of paper you're going to use, it's going to be 6 no matter what. But I'm going to show you in a second that that's not necessarily true. You still want to go in and look to see how it's going to divide it, because some of those pieces of paper could actually be blank. And I'm going to show you what that means right now. So let's just say in landscape mode, let's go ahead and click OK. And we're in the print preview. And we're going to just look at the pages here. So this is page 1. This is page 2. That's also page 2. This is page 3. That's also page 3. This is page 4. That's also page 4. This is page 5. That's page 5. That's page 6. I really wish I could shrink this for you so that you could see all of the pages at the same time, but you just can't do it. So let me just go into the 1-page view. That's page 1. That's page 2. That's page 3. That's page 4. That's page 5. That's page 6. Now we see that that is splitting our S. Let's go see what it looks like if we choose portrait mode. Portrait, come back to the adjust to. We just always click this adjust to recalibrate and tell microprogram that we just, made a change. So we click the adjust to again, go to the fit to, click OK. And now we can see that that's page 1. I'm going to zoom out so you can see. That's page 1. That's page 2. That's page 3. That's page 4. Page 4 is blank. You don't need to do anything with it. This is page 5. It's just that little bit of wheat underneath the S. And page 6 is also blank. So that would be far better to print in portrait mode and keep this S together. And all of this is on one piece of paper. Most of your S is on a piece of paper. The third piece of paper is this entire frilly pattern here. That's blank. And then the last bit of pressing is just this little part here under the S. So that is why it's always a good idea to go into your page setup and kind of play around and take a look at the print preview for every single option. Just remember, you always want to, like, every time you change something, come in here to the adjust to. It's just a little reset that tells Paint that you've changed something and you want it to refigure. All right, that is going to do it for the Paint. I'll see you in the wrap-up section. Okay guys, well now you should be able to print your print in sections using Microsoft Paint. And if you are able to do so, please give this video a thumbs up. We really do appreciate your support. If you're interested in doing the Home Depot rugs, we are going to link to what we use in the show description. Simply expand that by clicking on more details, or if you're on a cell phone, look for the down-shaped arrow. Other than that, if you want to learn how to break up your print using a PDF reader, the video coming up on the end of the screen will teach you just how to do that. Until next time, happy sublimating, everyone. Bye.